Formula 1, which take place worldwide on purpose-built circuits and on closed public roads. The results of each race are evaluated using a points system to determine two annual World Championships, one for drivers, the other for constructors. Each driver must hold a valid super license, the highest class of racing license issued by the FIA. The races must run on tracks graded 1, the highest grade rating issued by the FIA. Most events occur in rural locations on purpose-built tracks, but several events take place on city streets. Formula 1 cars are the fastest regulated road course racing cars in the world, owing to very high cornering speeds achieved through the generation of large amounts of aerodynamic downforce. The cars underwent major changes in 2017, allowing wider front and rear wings, and wider tires, resulting in peak cornering forces near 6.5 lateral G and top speeds of up to approximately 360 km per hour. As of 2019, the hybrid engines are limited in performance to a maximum of 15,000 revolutions per minute. The cars are very dependent on electronics and aerodynamics, suspension and tires, traction control, launch control, and automatic shifting, plus other electronic driving aids, have been banned since 2004 and 2008, respectively. While Europe is the sport's traditional base, the championship operates globally, with 11 of the 21 races in the 2019 season taking place outside Europe. With the annual cost of running a mid-tier team, designing, building, and maintaining cars, pay, transport, being $120 million United States dollars, its financial and political battles are widely reported. Its high profile and popularity have created a major merchandising environment, which has resulted in large investments from sponsors and budgets. On the 23rd of January 2017, Liberty Media confirmed the completion of the acquisition of Delta Topco, the company that controls Formula 1, from private equity firm CVC Capital Partners for $8 billion. The Formula 1 series originated with the European Championship of Grand Prix motor racing of the 1920s and 1930s. The formula consists of a set of rules that all participants' cars must meet. Formula 1 was a new formula agreed upon during 1946 after World War II, with the first non-championship races taking place that year. The first Formula 1 race was the 1946 Turin Grand Prix. A number of Grand Prix racing organizations had laid out rules for a world championship before the war, but due to the suspension of racing during the conflict, the World Drivers' Championship did not become formalized until 1947. The first World Championship race took place at Silverstone in the United Kingdom in 1950. A championship for constructors followed in 1958. National championships existed in South Africa and the UK in the 1960s and 1970s. Non-championship Formula 1 events were held by promoters for many years. But due to the increasing cost of competition, the last of these occurred in 1983, after a hiatus in European motor racing brought about by the outbreak of World War II in Europe in 1939. The Italian Giuseppe Farina in his Alfa Romeo won the first World Championship for drivers in 1950, narrowly defeating his Argentine teammate Juan Manuel Fangio. However, Fangio won the title in 1951, 1954, 1955, 1956, and 1957. Fangio's streak was interrupted by two-time champion Alberto Ascari of Ferrari. Although the UK's Stirling Moss was able to compete regularly, he was never able to win the World Championship and is now widely considered statistically to be the greatest driver never to have won the title. In a 7-year span between 1955 and 1961, Moss finished as championship runner-up 4 times and in third place the other 3 times. Fangio, however, has a reputation for dominating Formula 1's first decade and has long been considered the Grand Master of Formula 1. This period featured teams managed by road car manufacturers Alfa Romeo, Ferrari, Mercedes-Benz, and Maserati, all of which had competed before the war. The first seasons featured pre-war cars like Alfa's 158, They were front-engined, with narrow tires and 1.5-liter supercharged or 4.5-liter naturally aspirated engines. The 1952 and 1953 World Championships were run to Formula 2 regulations for smaller, less powerful cars, due to concerns over the paucity of Formula 1 cars available. When a new Formula 1 formula, for engines limited to 2.5 liters, was reinstated to the World Championship for 1954, Mercedes-Benz introduced the advanced W196, which featured innovations such as desmodromic valves and fuel injection as well as enclosed, streamlined bodywork. Mercedes drivers won the championship for 2 years, before the team withdrew from all motorsport in the wake of the 1955 Le Mans disaster. An era of British dominance was ushered in by Mike Hawthorn and Van Wall's championship wins in 1958. Although Sterling Moss had been at the forefront of the sport without ever securing the world title. Between Hawthorn, Jim Clark, Jackie Stewart, John Surtees and